Hey you guys, what is up? It is Vanessa and welcome back to my channel. You guys, I couldn't be happier to be back this week. I took a couple weeks off to focus, center, and just, I don't know about y'all, but 2020 has taken its toll. But here I am. I cooked some meals for my blended family of 6 this week, and I couldn't wait to share them with you guys. So if you like this kind of content and grocery hauls and other family and mama shenanigans, go ahead and click on that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, and give it a big thumbs up. Now let's get on to the dinners. Like you just heard in the song, I'm in love. You guys, this ninja foodie does it all and does it all very well. So today I am using it as a slow cooker. We are making a Swiss chicken in here, you guys. I saw mostly mom stuff. I will link her channel below. She made it and linked the recipe in her video. And as soon as I saw it, I knew that I had to make it. So it's basically chicken thighs with Swiss cheese, cream of chicken soup with a little bit of milk mixed in. You're gonna have some melted butter, some stovetop. You're gonna put that all in the slow cooker and let that cook all day. It's gonna be amazing. I just used margarine. I didn't have any butter on hand. I am also gonna cook up some green beans with a little bit of soy sauce, some butter, and some brown sugar. And we're gonna do up some mashed potatoes. This meal is amazing, you guys. Now, when I watched her make this, she used frozen chicken thighs, so I'm sure you could do that. Mine were about semi-frozen here, so I just wanted to kind of break them apart because anytime you cook anything, it's just better to have it in more of a single layer. So I seasoned it with a little bit of pepper, and I'm just taking some sliced Swiss cheese and covering the entire base with that. I probably would have went like one slice less, if that makes any sense, but it was still really, really good. So I'm combining the 1 can of cream of chicken with about a 1/4 cup of milk, just until it kind of all combines, and then you're going to spoon it or pour it right over that Swiss cheese. And then guys, you're going to go ahead and grab your stovetop. Now I just use chicken. You can buy turkey or whatever kind of stovetop you like. Cornbread would probably be really good in this, and you're going to sprinkle that over top. You're going to melt your 1/2 stick of butter and you're going to pour that over top as well. You're gonna see here part of my butter didn't really melt, but it was fine. I didn't saturate all of the stovetop, and that made it have a few more crunchy bits, which is actually really, really good. So I went ahead and set it on high for 5 hours. Now that could vary depending on your slow cooker, and I'm pretty sure she did it on low for like 9 hours. So you know what? I think it would work either way. All I'm doing now is cutting up some nice yellow potatoes or Yukon Gold potatoes. They are so good, and I am just lazy lately, you guys. I am not feeling peeling potatoes. It's funny because I feel like a lot of my meals that I share with you guys have potatoes in them. Leave a comment down below because 7 days a week we grew up meat and potatoes, and I feel like maybe that's just a generational thing. Like I'm gonna be 40 soon, so you know, back in the 80s and early 90s, that's just what we ate. So I'm just curious what you guys grew up eating, and it's really fascinating to me because I realize different parts of Canada alone, people have grown up eating different things. So I like to read your comments and see the kind of stuff that you guys grew up eating. It's just interesting to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this pot with some water. And the one thing I always emphasize to you guys, don't be afraid to season your food, especially your potatoes. They can take it. Give it a good amount of salt. next up, I just have this corningware dish that I use when I'm making any vegetables like peas, or here I'm making corn and it's just frozen. So I'm just going to throw it in here with some salt, pepper, and some butter, probably about a 1/4 cup of water, and I throw it in the microwave for 3 minutes and it always comes out delicious. So ask and you shall receive. That's what I keep telling Jamie. He asked me to make green beans a few weeks ago, you guys, and I swear it has been our side for every meal. He may regret that he said that. However, I just keep getting better at them. So I went ahead and did these up with some ready bacon bits and some soy sauce and brown sugar, and they were so good, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and make some mashed potatoes. Here's a little trick that I learned from Rachel Ray way back in the day to get rid of any extra water or moisture when you're draining your potatoes. Stick them right back on the burner when it's off, and there's just enough residual heat to go ahead and absorb and help evaporate any of the liquid. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of sour cream, about 4 tablespoons of butter, some salt, some pepper, and a splash of milk, and I'm gonna mash these up. But I'm gonna show you guys this tool that I have. It's Masha. It's by this company Crouton. I have had this, I wanna say, for 8 or 9 years. It's probably the most amazing thing for mashing potatoes. I've never used it for anything else. I'm not even sure that you could, but it's very ergonomically correct. I've been having a lot of joint issues lately. This is not sponsored, but it's just really easy. I literally just plop it down, and within about 15 seconds, my potatoes are super, super creamy. Also using this because my hand mixer broke. Boo hoo. Here it is, you guys. I do not feel like I did this justice. I didn't get a good enough picture or video, but just take a look. It's just like the best Thanksgiving, Christmas, holiday dinner you've ever had. I think this would be good with pork chops, chicken breast. I can just think of a million different ways to eat this. You guys need to try it, and you need to comment below when you do. I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do. All right, this meal was basically throwing together random things that I had in my fridge and my freezer. So I knew that I wanted to make something with some chicken and some bacon that I had to use up. So I kind of always just go to pasta when this happens. And I really love like a creamy garlic Alfredo. So everything you're seeing here is going to go into basically a baked chicken bacon penne dish. It's lactose free because that's primarily what my family goes for, except for this cheese. It's not lactose free, but the Parmesan and the milk is. I'm going to use a lot of garlic, some parsley and salt and pepper, and it's going to be pretty straightforward, you guys. The very first thing that I'm going to want to do is cook my bacon up. Now, if you guys follow me, you know that I usually prep my bacon and I cook it in the oven, but I want the drippings and stuff from this bacon, so I'm going to go ahead and cook it in the pan because this is going to be a one pot pasta per se. We are going to bake it off in the oven. You could skip that if you wanted to avoid that step. So I'm going to go ahead. I have this pre-cooked chicken that I had bought at the grocery store a while back. I'm going to go ahead and get all of my bacon cooked up, and I always save my bacon grease, you guys. I have a little mason jar that I will keep in the fridge. It's awesome to use in pie crust. That's a neat one too, especially if you're making apple pie. It's super, super good. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain the grease off. I'm gonna add a pat of butter and a little bit of olive oil to the pan. I wanna do this because you can burn the butter, and I just always add a little bit of oil when I put butter in my pan. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. So here's where we're getting into the one pot. I'm going to pour about 2 cups of uncooked penne into my pan. I'm going to pour all of that chicken. I would say I had about 1.5 cups, a good 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, a good handful of Parmesan cheese. Like I said, I'm just using the lactose free I get from Costco. 2 cups of chicken broth and about 1 cup of milk. You could use half and half, heavy cream. If you want to make this a little more lush, you can absolutely do that. I'm going to combine it all, throw a lid on it, probably stir it 2 or 3 times, but let it come to a boil and simmer until all of the liquid is absorbed, or most of it, and your pasta is almost all the way cooked. So you can see mine is separated a little bit. That's because I do use lactose-free cheese and milk. It still tastes amazing. If you use cream, yours is probably going to look a lot thicker. So I added some parsley and went ahead and added that bacon in there. Now I'm going to pour it into a 9x13 baking dish, and we are going to top it off with some Italian blend cheese and the rest of that bacon. And I baked this off in the oven for probably about 20 minutes, just until the cheese got nice and crispy, because if you guys know, baked pasta is all about that super crispy cheese on top. Now, Jamie had cooked lunch for him and the boys earlier in the week, and there was some leftover garlic bread, so I went ahead and cooked up the last 4 slices and just threw on some sliced mozzarella, and I'll toast that off in the oven right on the rack with the pasta.
I don't know why I did that, sorry. Not too bad, eh? Probably edible.
I mean, it usually is.
Probably edible.
At least edible.
I can say this is one of the first nights in months that everybody went back for seconds. All right, so oven-baked meatballs are always just one of those super easy weeknight go-to meals. I always freezer prep meatballs. If you guys haven't seen my weekly food prep videos, I did do a freezer prep one a couple weeks ago, and I will link it below so you can see how I make my meatballs. You can use any pasta you'd like. You could even throw these on some bread or some subs, or serve it up with bread and butter, some mozzarella cheese. You're also going to need some cheese for grating to top to bake at the end. Now, I'm just grabbing this dish. It's not a 9x13. I don't know what it is, you guys. I think it might be like a 9x7. It's kind of an obscure random shape. It turned out I had some ricotta in the fridge. If you guys have cream cheese or cottage cheese, I think it would be really good. It's kind of what put these over the edge, you guys. It's like they were super creamy and rich. They were so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and spoon that on, throw about half the sauce on, layer on my mozzarella cheese slices. If you only had grated, I'm sure you could use that. That would work perfectly fine. And then I'm gonna top it with the rest of the sauce, bake it in the oven at about 350 for about half an hour. Then we're gonna grate up some cheese, pull it out, top it off with the cheese, and bake it at around 450 for about another 10 minutes to get that real crispy topping. Or if you'd rather, you can just throw it under your broiler. I ended up just using a shredded mozzarella. I had some marble, but I didn't end up needing it. The mozzarella turned out to be enough, and in a minute, you're gonna take a look at MJ watching the goodness come out of the oven. That was the money shot there, you guys. Did you see that ricotta in the center? It was amazing. So like I said, you can serve this on top of pasta. You can eat it just as is with some delicious homemade bread, but we served ours on top of penne, and we ended up having penne a couple times this week, but I've had that conversation before. Is your guys' family a big pasta family? Because I feel like we are. Anyway, I have these kind of like hoagie style rolls, I guess, that I had, and some of the kids ended up having them that way. But like I said, straight up penne, that's my favorite way to eat this. All right, so tonight we had chicken pot pie, and this works out perfectly because I love to show you guys the after of my freezer meal videos. So before was my meatballs. Now you guys are taking a look at my chicken pot pie. This is a crouton crackerjack recipe, the filling, and I have shared this numerous times. I will link his channel below, and I will also link the video where I prepared this. Now, it's just literally perfect. Look at this. Why would you ever buy one? I mean, by all means, if you want to buy one, go ahead. But I use pre-made pie crust. This cooks up in 10 minutes. The filling is done. I freeze them. I don't pre-cook them. I double wrap them in saran wrap, once in aluminum foil, throw it in a gallon Ziploc bag, and they're in the freezer, ready to pull out the night before to bake for an hour at 350, and it's amazing. This is all with frozen pastry. I'm telling you, it blows my mind every time I make this, because when I look at it, I can't believe how good it is. It's that nice, thick, crispy crust because I like to dip that right into my chicken pot pie. The hardest part about this, you guys, is waiting like 20 minutes for it to cool so I can actually spoon it out. Now, I'm just using a small spatula here. I find that really helps. It's just an old Pampered Chef one that I've had for I want to say over 10 years. So I'm going to go ahead and spoon this up, and you guys, please make it, and please tell me when you do. Follow me on Instagram and share it with me. This is amazing, and this is going in Belle's lunch tomorrow. I cannot wait. And there you go, you guys. A few of the meals that we shared this week. I'm hoping that I have more to share with you next week, and I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you a little inspiration and motivation to cook for your family. Take care, and I'll see all of you in my next video.